It's time to talk about the DPS Deadpool, and this version of him is very good. Between these Deadpool variations, Vanguard DPS Strategist, a lot of his abilities look the same on paper, but how they function changes depending on the form, and in the previous guide, I covered the Vanguard Deadpool. That version has more health, higher sustain, faster firing, good damage reduction, more defensive tools overall. And the DPS Deadpool is the opposite. This version's all about exactly what you think that it is, raw damage output. Because we already covered the core mechanics in the last guide, this one's going to move and flow a little bit better. The plan is to have this guide build from the inside out, starting with the base, then go to passives, the abilities, then layering and upgrades as we go. Every Deadpool has similar abilities, but different abilities matter way more depending on the version that you're playing. Kind of wild differences on what needs to be utilized. DPS Deadpool comes in at 250 health and uses the DPS anchor, which gives him a flat 5% damage increase. So all damage numbers in this guide will include that bonus. We got two passive abilities, Healing Factor and Maximum Flare. Healing Factor works in two ways. First, after Deadpool has been out of combat for 5 seconds, he regenerates 25 health a second. Simple, automatic, it's up at all times. You just need to be out of combat for 5 seconds to get that passive healing. But if Deadpool takes more than 200 damage within a 2-second window, a special effect activates. The healing is boosted to 50 health a second, and after it's done, it fills you up for about 200 health, the 200 that you lost, and then it goes on a 45-second cooldown. But important note, again, even when the boosted healing is on cooldown, you still retain that 25 health per second as long as you're out of combat for at least 5 seconds. You don't need to keep track of it or manage it, it just happens. Maximum Flare controls Deadpool's ultimate access, and as you deal damage, use your abilities, you earn skill rating points, starting at the E rank, building all the way to the S rank. Once you reach the S rank, your ultimate becomes available, and if you die, at any point, the rating is going to reset. You're going to have to start all over from E on respawn. So if you earn your ultimate, use it, or you're going to lose it. We'll talk about ultimates later on in the guide. As you deal damage, make plays, you're going to accumulate XP during the battle. At the bottom of the screen, there's an experience bar. It passively generates, but as you land damage, land abilities, you get more experience. It goes up. Importantly, when you down an enemy, you can take a selfie with them, and in this animation, you're invincible. In this state, you take no damage, so it's a perfect time to get healing from your strategist, maybe stall, and depending on how many upgrades you have, is going to depend on how much experience you get for the selfie. As an example, you have no upgrades yet, it's the beginning of the match, you down something, take a selfie, it's going to shoot you up to be eligible for an upgrade. Keep going. After about the 3rd or 4th upgrade, it starts taking 2 to 3 selfies to max the XP bar, so keep in mind, you're still going to have passive generation, you're going to get generation from the damage that you gain, but the more upgrades that you have, the more XP it's going to take, so the selfies are even more of a priority mid-game. Each upgrade path approaches damage slightly different, and what you're going to be doing with those abilities and damage. So again, the goal is to find what's best for you. He has a ranged and melee form, and each form has its own ability set. Some are shared. While you have the Dual Desert Eagles out, it has its own set of abilities that you can activate. When you bring out the Katanas, some go away and new ones replace them, so let's start off with the ranged form, the Dual Desert Eagles. The DPS anchor applied, they deal 39 damage per hit, and there's rounding, a crit's 80 damage. Damage fall off begins at 18 meters, and the damage decreases to 80% at 30 meters. Now, in comparison, off the rip, Vanguard Deadpool, the tank Deadpool, deals 3 less damage per shot, and has damage fall off down to 50% at 30 meters. So the DPS Deadpool hits harder per shot, maintains significantly better damage at range. So that's good. It means more consistent damage, especially outside these close range brawls. Same fire rate, 2.5 rounds a second, same starting ammo, 30 rounds, but one very important mechanic here is the skill rating generation. For the DPS Deadpool, it takes 13 shots with the Deagles to get a full rank up from E to D, D to C, and so on. That's true for both headshots or body shots, it's just hits. So each hit with the Deagles gains about 7.7% skill charge, 13 hits. Compared to Vanguard Deadpool, it only takes 7 to 8 shots to get a full rank up. As we go on, you're going to see that the Deagles are good, but they're a tad more important to Vanguard Deadpool than DPS as far as skill point generation. DPS is going to rely on other abilities for skill points. But regardless, as always, consistent hit progression fuels your ultimate. When you upgrade the Deagles, it's a pretty substantial one as far as lethality. The damage goes to 48 to the body, 96 to the head. It fires slightly faster at 2 rounds a second, base is 2.5. The ammo goes up to 40, and just like the Vanguard form, we also have the added projectile, the dead poo. As you fire, there's a little poo above your shoulder. After 5 bullets fired, the next one fires out a projectile. The dead poo flies at 60 meters a second, has a 3-meter spherical spell field, has splash damage, but direct impacts deal 25 damage. And a key difference between this and the Vanguard Deadpool is that when you're on DPS and use this Deadpool, hitting an enemy gives the same exact skill point generation as just a regular Deagle hit, 7.7%. Compared to Vanguard Deadpool, when you hit something with that projectile, you gain about 40% of a style point bar, which is crazy. So it is a tad slower for skill point generation. It still does good damage, regardless. It's a good upgrade, maybe not the first, but it's a good one. 96 damage crits are no joke. We're going to tie it all in later. So let's get into the Dual Desert Eagle abilities when you have them equipped. Exclusive to them is Headshot Duelist. You can only throw this when the Deagles are out, but the ability still goes on even when you switch to the Katanas. More on that later. It's on a 10-second cooldown. It's a single cast projectile with a delayed impact that also generates a spell field. So when you throw it out, it travels at 80 meters a second, flies out like a frisbee, like a buzzsaw, deals 30 damage when thrown out, 25 damage when it returns. It's spinning in a 4-meter spherical field, again, kind of like that buzzsaw frisbee. If enemies are caught in that field while it's spinning, it deals 15 damage a second. But here's where it starts getting into DPS Deadpool's skill point generation. Each body that this thing hits, each enemy, passes through them, it gains about 23% skill points. And again, that's hitting them out, then coming back in, 23% for each one that it hits. So if enemies are grouped up in a line, you can land a lot of hits. It travels through all of them, then back to you. You can easily gain a full skill point rake up to your ultimate. And that goes even further with the upgrade. When upgraded, the damage just stays the same. At base, 30 damage when thrown out, 25 on the return, still 15 damage a second if they're caught in the buzzsaw. The important thing is he now throws 3 of them. Throws one out, comes back, catches it, throws another out, comes back, catches it. The third goes out, and that third one has a 45-point damage explosion after it goes out. Still on a 10-second cooldown, and damage-wise, in groups, it is constant pressure. But for Deadpool, not only is it just good damage, good harassment, but this is where your ult charge comes from a distance. Vanguard Deadpool at a distance is using the Deagles to get their ult charge, whereas DPS Deadpool from a distance is this Headshot Duelist Buzzsaw. It's also worth noting that each time he throws it back out after he catches it, the spell field gets slightly larger, with the third and final volley being the largest. The ability itself is good, really good. Good damage to get cleanup, slows down sustained healing. When you get it into groups and there's a lot of chaos, it puts in work. So if you throw this at a distance, it should be like that. You should be looking for groups, but if you have to, even in 1v1s, remember, even if you have the Katanas out, it still goes back out, comes back, he catches it, and all that damage added up starts becoming on top, and you can win the 1v1s. It's a great ability and a core one for DPS Deadpool. Next is the Bunny Hop. Katanas also have access to it, but it's actually a really important ability. DPS Deadpool gets 2 charges of this with a cooldown of 6 seconds. The special effect is that you refresh the cooldown if you hop on an enemy's head. And also when you hop on an enemy's head, you gain 25 bonus health with a max of 50 bonus health. So when in close quarters, it's warranted to do this with how Deadpool's kit works. We'll talk about this more with the Katanas, but just know that you do get health from it, it refreshes when you land it. Also very important, just like Vanguard Deadpool, when you land a bunny hop on an enemy's head, it ranks up a full skill rank per bunny hop landed. And remember, this thing refreshes on landed hits. Then finally, we have Deadpool in your area. Both forms have access to it. It's on a 12-second cooldown. When you pop it, it has a 6-meter cylindrical radius. Enemies caught in there have their vision disrupted. They get hit with 15 damage a second. You gain experience. And when enemies hit you with 100 damage, it ends their disruption. While in this spell field, it lasts for 5 seconds, you gain 20% damage reduction. But importantly, when you tag an enemy with this spell field, this orange circle on the ground, either by walking into them or popping it directly on them, it's a one-time thing, you get around 50% skill points. So if you pop it, close in on them, catch someone inside, that way you get that. That's a lot of progress that's easy to get. When upgraded, everything stays the same, but your self-damage reduction goes from 20 to 35%, which is massive. It has a place, because you're going to be on top of enemies, and you're going to have this damage reduction to go with it. Next, we get into his melee form, the Katanas. It's a 3 melee animation. The first strike is 0.6 seconds, second strike 0.53, the last 0.6. Each swipe of the 3 deals 42 damage each, and you have a range of 4 meters. In comparison, the Vanguard Katanas deal 30 damage each, this deals 42 on Duelist Deadpool. And this is where your true pressure starts. First of all, with no upgrades at all, just at base. The last part of his melee is called the Stabby Special. It's where he has a flurry of straight stabs. This Stabby Special can crit. It's the only part of his katana melees that do, and it starts doing it at base. When you upgrade the Katanas, You melee slightly faster. The first strike is 0.5 seconds, second is 0.43, the third is 0.5. The damage jumps to 47.25 per hit, and added in, when you land a bunny hop, not only do you get that full skill rank up, it's going to allow his third strike, the stabby special, to come out no matter what part of his melee animation that you're in. And the bunny hop, remember, refreshes after you land it. There's a world where you can just bunny hop and keep landing the stabby special crits. Now, the damage is weird with the stabby special crit. It does about 56 total damage instead of the 47 it would have dealt to the body. Also note, regular melee strikes from the katana offer very little skill point generation. It's not something you rely on at all. Katanas themselves, though, play a huge part in what we're trying to do with Duelist Deadpool. More on this in a moment. With the katanas, you lose access to the headshot buzzsaw, but you gain access to Hazardous Hijinks. It's a crazy ability on Duelist Deadpool. It follows the same rules as the Vanguard version, but the Duelist one is cranked to 11. You get 2 charges, with each charge taking 10 seconds to recharge. They deal 42 damage a hit. They have a dash distance up to 12 meters. The special effect is that you can refresh the cooldown if it hits an enemy for up to 2 times. You have 2 charges, so 6 straight hits, 252 total damage. So if you have 2 charges there, you can't say like a Black Widow out in the middle of nowhere. You just land all 6 of those, and a 250 HP hero is going to go down. This is also one of your main sources of skill point generation. Each hit landed gains around 35% skill points. So at base, land all 6, 2 full ranks. It's very, very good. And as we get into the upgraded part, I have a very important tip for you. One that's going to take your damage to the next level, over the top, get more downs, make more plays. When you upgrade this, it is massive. The damage stays the same. There's still 2 charges, with each charge taking 10 seconds to recharge, but the addition is that you can refresh the cooldown if you hit an enemy. And also, Deadpool bounces as you hit them with the ability. He pops up into the air. So with this upgraded, as long as you land the hit, it refreshes over and over. And for each hit, you get around 35% skill points. Now you're in the air. You can directionally aim those hijink shots, those dashes. But the important tip that I want to show you, to me, it's the foundation of what we're trying to do with DPS Deadpool. When you're using this ability, hold the melee button down, your left click. This allows you to get the absolute most damage in, and it works similar to a melee cancel. You're going to hold melee. I'm going to slow it down in a moment, but you're just holding melee, then you hit the right click. So while holding left, you're going to be mashing the right click, or the hijinks button if you're on controller. Deadpool is going to do the hijinks slash, stay in the air, do a regular melee, then a hijinks slash, then a regular melee over and over. And you can also crit with the stabby special. And just overall, it's more damage, more pressure, very easy to do. It goes on forever as long as you land those dashes. Get used to it, practice it, get in the range. And to start off, to practice, just hold the left click. He starts meleeing. Whenever you hit the right click, the hijinks, that takes over. It will cancel the melee wherever you are, and the right click's going to come out. So just keep holding the left click and mash the right click. And you kind of see in this background gameplay of just how it's going down. It's an important thing to get down because you're close. You're doing these melees, a couple other things start being utilized, like the bunny hop. You're right on top of them. After you land the upgraded hijinks dash, it pops you into the air. So you're right there, land a bunny hop. It refreshes, you get a full skill rank up, the stabby special can come out, just more damage, more skill points. And we also have Deadpool in your area. As you're meleeing them and around them, pop Deadpool in your area. They get disrupted, they get 15 damage a second on top from the spell field. You get 20% damage reduction, 35% if you have Deadpool in your area upgraded. So to put it all together, for the katanas, the base loop to follow is to have the deagles out. You're going to throw the headshot buzzsaw, though it immediately switch to katanas. Even though the katanas are out, the ability still works the same. It's going to go out, come back, go out, come back, go out. Right after that, it's thrown, find your main target, jump them, get on top of them. Start doing your holding left click, mash the right click. At any moment, maybe you're getting low, maybe you need it, pop Deadpool in your area. That damages them, you get skill points, they're disrupted, you get damage resist. In all, you have damage over time from the buzzsaw, Deadpool in your area spell field that's doing damage, keeping you safe with DR. You're doing the melee hijinks, left click, right click stuff, a ton of damage, a ton of skill points. This means you get a fast ultimate, so practice it, get it down, get the flow. That dash can go to 12 meters, so you can go in and out to different targets. We have 2 ultimates to go over, and then we start talking about the upgrade paths. These ultimates have a 45-second cooldown, so if you do use them, they go through a 45-second cooldown, even through respawn. When the Dual Desert Eagles are out, your ultimate is skill issue. Your ultimate button's going to appear over the enemy, Q, hit it on them, you judge them. They get taunted, it lasts for 8 seconds. For 8 seconds, they get hit with 60 damage per ability missed. So you have your pressure, your team's pressure and damage, and when they miss a shot, they do self-damage, 60 apiece. When you upgrade it, it just takes it over the top. Everything that it has at base, lasting for 8 seconds, 60 damage per ability miss, but now it also deals 25 damage a second for the 8 seconds, just for the duration of it. They're still going to get hurt with 60 damage per miss, but also there's a vulnerability ration from abilities missed. 10% for each stack, up to 4 stacks. And with vulnerability, they take more damage from all sources, including their self-damage. In other words, it's a solo ult, a very mean one. If you need something down, and I've used it, you're going to see when the time is right. It could be a Vanguard, they need to go down, or they're peeling too well. Maybe you see a strategist is about to have their ultimate, you try to take them out. It has a place. You're going to know when to use it. Otherwise, you're going to be using the other ultimate with the Katanas. With the Katanas out, you have access to Pop Quiz. You get a challenge that lasts for 12 seconds. In this time frame, you need to complete that challenge. At a baseline, you pop the ultimate, you get 25 healing a second, a 15% increased movement boost. On screen, there's a counter 0 to 5. You need 5 challenge hits, and the hits are going to count mainly from bunny hops on the head. That counts as 1, but the main way is the hijinks hits, the right click. At base, you already have 6 of them, you just need to land 5. If you have it upgraded, it's infinite. Just keep going in, you'll land them. Once completed, jackpot goes on the screen, and you have a 6-second countdown. In this state, the health per second doubles. You gain 50 health a second off from 25, and your movement boost is doubled as well, 30% instead of the previous 15%. When it's over, it goes back on cooldown for 45 seconds. But when you upgrade it, everything is way more juiced, and a new buff is also applied. At base now, when you pop it, you get 30 healing a second instead of 25. You get the 15% movement boost, but you also get a 15% damage boost. In those 12 seconds, you have to complete the challenge. When you do, you now have 8 seconds with these updated abilities instead of 6. With completion, it doubles. You get 60 healing a second for those 8 seconds. You get a 30% movement speed boost and a 30% damage boost. Just infinitely better, like so much better. This is the one that you're going to be using the majority of the time. The only time you're going to use the Deagle one is when, let's say you can't push in, you need something to go down, or maybe through the chaos, you see the strategists in the back. They're protecting them well, you can judge them. Few and far, but otherwise, it's sword time. It is the best ultimate for DPS Deadpool. Because this ultimate, once you start adding in everything, it's brutal. A ton of damage. Then you throw everything that we have. You have 60 healing a second, 30% movement boost, 30% more damage. You're going to throw out that buzzsaw. Everything that you're hitting, that thing's going back and forth, back and forth. You do your melee shenanigans over and over. You drop the zone. That way you're taking damage reduction. They get a little bit more tick. You become a problem. So practice it, get a feel for it, and you will start dominating with it. It's very good. With the upgrade paths, this section, I took an extra day with this guide to finalize the paths. What's nice about Deadpool in general is that really there's no wrong answer on how you upgrade him. It's going to vary differently everywhere you look. But after playing, I see 2 main paths to go, an aggressive path and an opportunistic path. Both work really, really well. They've both been highlighted in the background gameplay. The aggressive path starts with Hazardous Hijinks, and why here? This allows you to deal more damage, period, full stop. But you get a ton of skill points on hits. You're able to do this over and over, and this is going to be on top of the other abilities that you have, so you're going to be starting here. And remember, early upgrades go quick, the first 2 to 3, especially if you're taking selfies. Your main goal at the start of the match is to find someone low, get them down, take a selfie, get Hazardous Hijinks going. Because when you have it, you can start to overwhelm, then get to your next upgrade. I went back and forth, and the second upgrade is Headshot Duelist, because this does 3 things. 1, a ton of skill points added when you land this thing, especially into groups. 2, it's a ranged attack that gets you a ton of points. You're able to poke with it. And 3, it's a core part of your dive loop. Once you get close, you're going to throw it out, switch to the Katanas, dive in, start doing your thing. It lets you do a ton more damage. It's a great primer before you start going in with hijinks. The third upgrade, Pop Quiz, the ultimate. The ultimate's crazy, especially getting more damage. And the 2 upgrades so far are the best ways to get your ultimate the fastest it can go. You have the tools to do it, so now you're being rewarded for it. The buzzsaw gets a ton going out, coming back in. Hazardous Hijinks, you have a lot of sustain, jumping around, you're gonna get your ult in no time. Do the challenge, 60 healing a second, 30% more movement, 30% more damage. That's the big payoff. The 4th upgrade, Deadpool in your area. At base, 20% damage reduction, which you're going to be using to stay alive, and especially when you dive into enemies. Now with it upgraded, it's 35% damage reduction. That's on top of what you have with your ultimate. It's already upgraded, so you're going to be even harder to be taken out. 35% DR, 60 healing a second. 5th upgrade, the Katanas. Why the Katanas here? To me, your true damage is coming from Hazardous Hijinks, the Buzzsaw, your alternating melees with the Hijink shots. The Katanas upgraded have 5 more damage per hit, which is nice, and you can crit already without this upgrade with the Stabby Special, and you do get access to the Stabby Special after bunny hops, but in Chaos, it's tough to do. You're jumping in, doing the combos, And up to this point, everything that's been upgraded so far, the Katanas are just kind of icing on the cake, kind of on top. You can utilize that extra 5 damage, and it's slightly, and I mean slightly faster attack speed. The 6th upgrade, the Deagles. More damage is always good, 96 damage crits. But your whole goal is to get the melee kit going. I mean, this is good for cleanups, good for poke, not very good for skill point generation, but you are a duelist. They're good to have. The Deagles are there to soften them up, then you can go in. The final upgrade is skill issue. This is the solo Deagle ult. I mean, upgraded, it's way better than base, but you should be looking for the Katana melee ultimate the majority of the time. This path has a 3 ability core. Hijinks for pressure, get a ton of skill points, the headshot, the buzzsaw for even more pressure, and if thrown correctly, like over halfway of your ult can be had. But these 2 things are to get your ultimate. Then you have the ultimate better. That's the thinking behind the first 3. It's meant to be aggressive, it's what Deadpool Duelist wants to be doing, and it's very, very good. The other path I call the Opportunistic Path, meaning you wait for openings, you punish mistakes, look for low health targets, maybe bad positioning, pick fights on your own terms, lower overall risk but way higher consistency. I like this one. And this path starts with Headshot Buzzsaw. Why this? Again, at the start of the match, you're going to be looking to down someone very quickly, clean them up, take the selfie, get an upgrade. With the Buzzsaw as the first one, you can throw it out to get a ton of ult charge at a distance. You can see health bars, you can see who is low. And how it works out is you get about halfway with all your poke to your ultimate, because this Buzzsaw, see those health bars? If someone's low, you can dive in, you can commit. Start getting hits in with your 6 charges of Hazardous Hijinks, get your ult going. The second upgrade is Hazardous Hijinks. I mean, the loop stays the same. Basically, the Buzzsaw is getting you very close to your ult. Now when you dive in, you can keep on hitting, keep on bouncing, get the ult going. You think of Buzzsaw as the primer and the upgraded Hijinks as a finisher. Again, you're looking for opportunities. Third upgrade, the Deagles. Why here, opposed to them being so late in the other path? Again, looking for mistakes, low health targets, 96 damage headshots or rip. Your Buzzsaw's landing, hitting enemies, you're going to see health bars, so you can see who you should be focusing on to try to clean up. And more damage on these Deagles goes a long way with that. Fourth upgrade, Pop Quiz. It's the best ult that he has, more damage, more health. Everything that you're setting up for gets rewarded here. It's a little bit more cautious doing the whole primer thing with the Buzzsaw than going with the Hijinks, but it's very consistent and you will get your ult. And though this is later on in the path than the aggressive one that we just went over, but you're getting to the same point just differently. It's still really good here. The 5th upgrade, Deadpool in your area, even at a distance, so when you're using your Deagles, getting 35% damage resist at your feet is great. I mean, obviously when you dive in, it's going to be great too, but so many times you're kept alive because you pop this. You're looking for those high damage Deagle shots the whole time. It's very, very good. 6th upgrade, the Katana. Again, it's weird that it's so late. It gives 5 more damage, split second faster on the attacks, but your real damage is coming from other things. This is just intertwined in. Final upgrade, skill issue. Again, last. There's a place for it, just not early in an upgrade path. Don't think that it's bad, it's just not the main way you want to use Duelist Deadpool. In conclusion, he's fast, he's explosive, and when played correctly, he's absolutely suffocating. The kit rewards intentional play, knowing when to poke, when to dive, when to fully commit. The 2 paths I went over go about those things. You're not just pressing buttons, you're building momentum, stacking pressure, turning point generation into constant ult uptime. That's the goal. So whether you choose the aggressive path, you kind of force things head on, or the opportunistic path, you punish mistakes, Duelist Deadpool gives you the tools to control the pace of engagements. He's very, very good. And the best part is the sustain is deceptive. Once your loop clicks, you become incredibly hard to deal with. So practice the flow, practice the cancels, get in the range, get comfortable switching forms mid-fight. Once you do, Duelist Deadpool stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling inevitable. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Duelist Deadpool down below. As always, share any tips that you have, help each other out. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.